Welcome to the Activity Call Live. Now, let's hear it for our special guest host, Terry Edwards.
That's right. It is I. As Travis Hunter said, I am him. This is Terry Edwards coming to you live from the beautiful city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We're here, and we are so excited. We know Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern time, we have our activity call, and I am so excited to share with you. And I got a couple of friends that's going to be sharing. But before we get started on that, first and foremost, thank you so much, Andy and Jane Albright, for creating such an amazing platform where people from all walks of life can come in and dream and grow and get what they came for, baby. So thank you so much to the whole corporate staff. We're just so excited. To all of the field leaders, man, let's get after it, baby. So we're going to be talking about coaching on today. But before that, we got a couple of housekeeping rules. The Alliance is on the move, baby. We got a lot of exciting events coming up, and just want to make sure that you pin them on your calendar. On this weekend, October the 29th, I believe that is going to be tomorrow. So on tomorrow, there's an annuity and IUL extravaganza down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Beautiful, sunny South Florida, baby. They're going to be talking about how to help protect people money. Listen, guys, we're at a monumental time in the U.S. economy right now, okay? The stock market is doing what it's due. It's volatile, baby. I think year to date, it's down about 22%. Guys, people are concerned right now about their retirement money. Their 401ks are slowly becoming 301ks, on their way down to 201ks. And we have a strategy. We have a product where we can help people position part of their assets in an account that is guaranteed never to lose money. But when the market is going up, they making money, baby. It's like the best of both worlds. So IULs, everybody, ticker-tocker is going off about infinite banking, right? So why not get to this extravaganza if you can, to learn how these products work so that you can better position yourself to go out and help more families. And not just learning about the products, association, getting around. Some of the top leaders are going to be there. I know Brandon Beal, Mr. IUL himself, will be there training. I believe Sean Boone is on docket. Sean Boone told me the other day, he just wrote a $65,000 annual premium IUL, guys. Get around the people. I know Chris Norris and Amber and Bam is going to be there. F&G is going to be, like, listen, all of the leaders, Andy is going to be there. Get down there to associate and also to learn something. I like it sometimes when people say, hey, when you're recruiting, hey, do y'all got training? I be like, you got learning? Because we ain't short of training here at the Alliance, baby. So get down to Fort Lauderdale this weekend, October the 29th. All of the details, if you log into your ARC and go down to scroll down on the first page down to the bottom, you can click on the links and find the intimate details or get in contact with your growing upline, okay? Also, a lot of companies and stuff, they tightening up on the budgets and stuff like that. But guys, we're in financial services, and our carriers, they are excited about growing. CFG is excited about growing, guys. So they're doing a contest that runs from now to the end of the year, from October 1st through the end of the year. It's going to be a manager's contest as well as a personal producer contest. So if you find yourself can write a little more CFG, that won't hurt. And you'll get an opportunity to win an all-expense paid vacation. Well, we're going to do some training. You got to do a little training, to make it a business meeting. But it's going to be in St. Peter's. Down in Treasure Island. Some pretty beach, pretty white sand, crystal blue waters. Go down there and see what's going on. CFG contest. Also, Core Bridge Financial. They're hosting a meeting in Houston, Texas. That's right, Kathy, in your neck of the woods, Houston, Texas, on November the 9th. Okay. Now, if you can't get to Fort Lauderdale, if you don't qualify for the CFG trip, and if you can't get to Houston on November the 9th, I'm letting you know right now, January the 12th through the 15th, all roads, all airways, railroads, trailways, Ubers, I don't care how you get there, just get there if you can. We're going to be having our national convention where Lottie Dottie and everybody from the East Coast to West Coast, North, South, everybody is coming into Dallas, Texas for our national convention, January the 12th through the 15th. Listen, guys, if you haven't secured a ticket, can I tell you something? I don't know if you know this or not, but on November the 1st, it's going to be a price increase. So go to www.theallianceevents, that's an S on the end.com, to get your ticket secured before we sell out. It's going to be a grand time. Our national convention is sort of like the Country Music Awards meet the BET Awards, and it's just like a straight explosion, guys. It is going to be phenomenal. Always a great award ceremony where we get suited and booted, black tie. We're going to have Mark Aceta. He's putting together a tremendous lineup of speakers, of people who are going to be pouring into you over that weekend. So January the 12th through the 15th. Now, if the association is going to be there, the education is going to be there. And if that won't enough to entice you to come, listen, guys, I don't know if y'all heard it or not, but in 2024, so all starting January 2023 to December, the end of 2023, we have a new trip qualification. In 2024, guys, the Alliance is going to New Zealand, baby. Oh my gosh, this is a bucket list trip. But what does that have to do with National Convention? It got everything to do with it. In 2023, we're going to have 4 major training events, okay? Now, if you have never experienced, qualified for an Alliance trip, just by coming to the 4 events, you're going to get 40,000 bonus points for each event that you attend in 2023. And if you've won a trip before, you're going to get 25,000 bonus points for every event that you go to. Now, let me, whoa. You mean to tell me, that's right. It's 250,000 marketing credits to win the trip. So every premium and dollar equals a credit. So if you write a policy that's $100 a month, that's $1,200 annual premium, you get 1,200 credits for that trip. Now, listen, it's 250,000 credits to qualify for New Zealand. This trip is going to be insane. This trip is starting in Australia. Come on. So, listen, I'm from Northeastern North Carolina, baby. I ain't never been to Australia before. They call them Aussies over there. I want to go over there and hang out with my Aussies and maybe drink a Foster's. You know what I'm saying? But listen, it's 250,000 points. Now, if you've never traveled with the Alliance before, if you go to all 4 events in 2023, you're going to get 160,000 marketing credits. You only got to write $90,000 in premium. Come on, guys. We, Andy, the whole team is aligning this thing up so that 2023 is a massive year. And in addition to the trip, you get all the money too. You keep all the commissions. Listen, guys, if you qualified before and you go to all the events, you can get 100,000 points. So you only need 150,000 credits to qualify for an all-expense paid vacation for 2 that starts in Australia. Then jump on a cruise ship. Everything is included. Drink ticket, everything is included. So I don't know about y'all, but my goal is 40 couples going to New Zealand from the Dream Team. I don't know what y'all thinking, but that's what I'm thinking. That is what I'm thinking. And also, let me keep a plug here. 2022 ain't over. We're in the 4th quarter, guys. We're in the midst of qualifying for Ireland right now. So if you are not where you want to be, time is not up. Keep pushing, because we're going to have fun in in Ireland too. We're going to do the Ireland jig. I might even break out, do the wobble. Might introduce the wobble to the people over there in Ireland. I don't know what's going to happen, but you want to be there to see what happens on these trips. So I think I got all of my housekeeping rules, housekeeping things out the way. All right, guys. So if I could tell you one thing that can change everything, I'm going to tell it to you today. I promise you, I'm going to tell it to you. And if I don't do a good job telling it to you and explaining it to you, I got reinforcement. I brought people with me today. That's right. So we're going to talk about coaching. Like, what is coaching? What does it look like? And what does it produce? So when I start thinking about coaches, like I started thinking about some of the great athletic coaches, like the Bill Belichick's of the world. You know what I'm saying? Tom Landry. Now, I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan, but you can't deny greatness, huh? Tom Landry was the first head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. That joker held that job for 29 years. 29 years. Over that 29 years, that joker had 20 consecutive winning seasons. He won 2 Super Bowls, 5 NFC championships, 13 division titles. You can't tell me that brother was not a great coach. Okay? And this is what Tom Landry said coaching is. Tom Landry says a coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear, who has you see what you don't want to see, so you can be who you've always known you could be. Let me break that down one more time. A coach. Type in the chat, a coach. A coach is someone who tells you and I what we don't want to hear. Have us see our ugly truth sometimes, what we don't want to see, so that we can be always whom we know we could be. See, the problem is this right here. It's not that we don't know, it's not that we are unaware or uninformed that we were born for greatness. It's not that we don't desire greatness, but sometimes we don't want to hear what we need to hear, or we don't want to see what we need to see to be who we want to be. Isn't that crazy? Like, we were all, like, I don't know anybody who wakes up in that morning and say, I'm going to go out and be a horrible person today. I'm going to be the scum of the earth today. No, we don't say that. Like, we know that greatness is in us, because after all, we made it. We was the sperm cell that made it. Come on, somebody. When my wife got pregnant with Taylor, I started doing some research, and because I was amused, I was astonished. And this is what I found out, y'all. Sebastian, I found this out. When a girl is conceived, she's given her lifetime supply of eggs. She's given about 6 million eggs. By the time she's born, she done lost 5 million. So she down to 1 million. And you and I are a result of 1 in 6 million. Come on. Like, we are designed to be great, but a lot of times we just don't want to hear what we need to do. We don't want to face our ugly truth to become who we need to be. You see, a coaching, it's a partnership between the coach and the player, or the coach and the mentee. And the coach is crazy. Most of the time, people think it's one way, like the coach is just trying to get everything out of the player. That is true. A coach is designed, his or her whole desire is to help the person, the player, or whoever they're coaching to live out their maximum potential. But in a true coaching relationship, both parties benefit. Not only do the player gets better, but the player makes the coach better. Because the player sometimes keeps the coaches on their toes, right? So when you think about coaching, what makes a great coach? That's the first thing I'd be thinking. Like, what is it that make a great coach? And this is what I found out. Great coaches are prepared. They spend a lot of time prepping. They watch film. They study their adversary, the enemy. They study their opponent. They try to figure out what their weaknesses are. Or if they're in this formation, these are the plays they're trying to run. So then the defense can counteract. Coaches ask a lot of good questions. And when they're asking questions, that's when they're going through their evaluation process, right? Good coaches also, they have a tremendous connection with the people that they're leading. You see, the great coaches that I've been around, they know, for example, it's more to football than just X's and O's. Sometimes you got to get in them jokers' head, find out what makes them tick. You know, some players you can scream at and cuss out, and they don't. I don't know how to do it. So I told my son the other day to do something, and both of them play football. But sometimes when I tell them to do something, I hear a little back lip. But when they out on the football field, I seen the coaches scream at them, cuss them out, and everything, and the coach get a yes sir. So I'm like, how does that work? Like, how does that work? Like. So what Elijah told me was, Dad, that's my coach. He's screaming and yelling at me because he knows that if I'm in the right position, if I'm doing the right things, that I'm going to help the team be successful. And I was like, well, I'm your coach. I'm your daddy. If you don't do what I tell you to do, you're going to get killed. Not killed. Strike that from the record. You're going to get hurt. But what I'm saying is coaches, they figure out how to connect with the people that they lead. And then they clearly identify resistance. They get to the root cause of what's causing the resistance by asking questions, right? So when they're asking questions, they're trying to figure out, is it a capacity issue? Is it that my players don't know the plays? Is it that my players don't know how to tackle? Do they not know how to run? Do they not know the cadence? Right? Or is it a competency issue? Right? Or is it a caring? Do they just not care? So when we are dealing with our agents and our clients, we got to figure out, one, is it a competence issue? Do they not know no better? Capacity issue. Can they not do no better? Or if they just don't care, right? So that's what coaches do. And then really great coaches, they know when to shut up. See, sometimes you can talk too much. I've been guilty of that. I don't know about y'all, but I've been guilty of talking too much. So I don't know if y'all had a mama like mine, but sometimes your mama just get tired of talking to you. She just look at you. And that look is saying a lot. So sometimes a good coach, it ain't what they say. Sometimes it's what they're not saying. And even in silence, they're saying something. So in order for coaching to go well, yes, you have to have a good coach that's prepared, that's connected to the people that lead, that can identify resistance and kind of know when to shut up. You also have to have a willing participant in the process. You got to have a good player, right? So what makes players great? And when as we're building the alliance and we're building our organizations, yes, it is on us as leaders. Who is a leader? You and I. When we signed up to become a part of the alliance, we became leaders because we're already on a path that's contrary to what most people are doing. But when we recruit and bring in our first agent, we're really a leader, and we abandon the idea of not being successful, right? So what is a good player? A good player is somebody who is passionate about their success. They don't just do stuff half-tailed. right? They don't just want to be on the team. They want to have an impact. You know, there are some players, they're just happy being on the team. They got the jersey, they walk out with the team. But there's a few players, they don't like sitting on the sideline. They want to be up in there. When it's 4th down in inches and the game is on the line, or when the clock is ticking down, there are some players, they want the ball in their hands, baby. They are passionate about it. And they've truly become students of the game, right? So when what we do one thing. It's 3 things, but it's one thing. We sell, we recruit, and we build. What do we sell? We sell everything. We sell final expense. We sell mortgage protection. We sell the IULs. We sell annuities. We sell Medicare. We do it all. We don't we're like a dadgum linebacker with a head on a swivel. Anything that come across our site, we got something for you, baby. We're going to knock it down. We don't try to specialize in what our specialty is, what our client needs, right? We recruit, guys. We don't just only sell, we recruit. Because this is what I know. Most of us enjoy selling because of the gratification that we get for going out helping people. Oh, and the compensation is awesome too. Okay? But listen, guys, if you want more gratification and more compensation, why would you only play one phase of the game and just sell? Because if you can recruit and teach other people to do what you do, recruit them, and then building is when you're teaching other people to do what you do, which is sell and recruit. Do you think that we're going to be able to help more people or less people? Are we going to have a bigger impact or lesser impact? So we play all 3 phases of the game. So a good team player is a player that's playing all 3 phases of the game: selling, recruit, and then building. A good player, we are passionate, guys. This is the activity call. We are passionate about our activity. We're passionate about tracking our numbers. We are passionate about doing the 4 basics in the house. What are the 4 basics that we do in every single home? We call from the house, and we're going to get some help. Not after we leave, but while we up in there. We're going to pick up a check, right? We're going to fill out that green sheet. We're going to find safe money. Guys, like I said, we're in a time right now where the stock market is all over the place. People are not even opening their investment statements because they don't want to see the red. Okay? So we're going to fill out a green sheet. We're going to get referrals. And with this new referral generator with American Amicable, able to offer free accidental death to clients and their family, oh my gosh, we get referrals. We get a minimum of 10 referrals in every single home. And then last but not least, we recruit across the table. Listen, guys, if this pandemic didn't teach us anything, it taught us that we can no longer rely on one source of income. People are more open to the idea of having multiple streams of income now more than ever. People are getting fed up with corporate America. They're getting fed up with the games, guys. More people, sharper, ambitious people are looking for opportunity. So a good player is passionate about development and their success. They have a beginner's mindset. It's like good players, they have childlike faith. They are not childish. They have childlike faith. What does that mean? They believe, they have an attitude that the glass is half full. They're not cynical. They are eager. They don't come in with preconceived ideas. I was talking with the agent the other day, and she got on the phone for the first time with some leads. And she said she was surprised when somebody said yes and booked an appointment. So I was like, why would you be surprised? Like, expect to win. In our business, guys, we don't have anybody working, not making money. The question is, will you do the work? Will you have childlike faith that will tell you, if you come to National Convention, you come to the IUL extravaganza, you're going to see people that's just like you playing and winning at a high level? Why not expect that you can have the same, if not better results? When people have that childlike faith, they have a heart and a mind ready to receive, but not only to receive, but to implement. See, I think the Bible says something about you can't just be a hearer of the word, you got to be a doer. Yes, come soak up the information, but don't be like that sponge that nobody wrings out. Let's wring that sponge out. So a good player is passionate. They have childlike faith. They are highly accountable. And being accountable, that's one of our 8 steps to success. Being accountable means simply we do what we say we're going to do. And we are who we say we are. In a world now where it's crazy how the illusion of success has wooed so many people by social media. People, Instagrams are on fire. Their Facebooks, their pictures, their selfies are perfect. But when you sit down and talk to them, they don't have the basics in life covered. What do I mean by that, guys? There's a study out right now. 76% of millennials lack basic financial literacy. 76% of millennials. And I'm not against crypto and all that stuff, but how can you try to sell me on crypto and you don't understand term and whole life insurance? Did we just skip first base and go straight to third? It don't happen that way, guys. So being accountable, being who we say we are. If we say we love our family, let's make sure our family is protected. I like to say this. Let's change the narrative in our social circles, guys. Being accountable requires being committed in every area of your life. Now, it's one thing about millennials now, and a lot of people, once they figure out that you are not who you say you are, and you lose that trust and that respect, it's almost impossible to get it back. I like to say it this way. My daddy used to say, don't let your mouth write a check that your can't cash. I like to say this right here. In our business, don't let your mouth write a check that your ambition can't cash. Because our ambition is our currency. We are in an industry where you ain't got to have good credit. You ain't got to have no business credit. You only thing to create cash flow, only thing you need is a willingness to work. That's it. Be ambitious enough to work. Great players, they proactively seek out coaching and feedback. Your growing upline, their phone should be ringing off the hook with you asking questions. Just because you've had success in other areas of your life, that don't mean that you're going to have success here. You ain't never did this before. Ask some questions, baby. And last but not least, good players, they clearly understand the vision and how their role fits into the picture. We're a bunch of role players here, man. Like we're built on a dynasty, and your success is intertwined with my success. But also your hurt is intertwined with my hurt. So we have to know our roles and get after it, this clear vision, man. And it's crazy because when I first got started with the Alliance, I was in a mess. 7 years ago, I was in a hot kicking mess. I had quit all my little side hustles to go pursue my dream. I was named CEO of a credit union down in Georgia. Me, Tia, and our 3 kids at the time, she was 7 months pregnant with number 4. We struck out and we left North Carolina and we moved down to Georgia. This was my dream job, guys. I always wanted to be the chief executive officer of a credit union. If you go back and look at my old performance evaluations from every job that I had, every year my long-term goal was always to become a CEO. Well, I got the title, moved down there, and long story short, they rescinded the job offer after we had moved down there. So here I am. I got a house in North Carolina. I'm leasing a house in Georgia, right? 2 house payments, 2 water bills. My house was on the market in Kernersville. Nobody was buying houses in February, right? I was in a mess. Had COBRA payments for health insurance because Tia was about to drop that baby, and them hospitals want their money, baby. Them doctors want their money. So what I did was I got on Craigslist looking for an opportunity, looking for a way just to keep the bills going, looking for a way to keep food on the table, clothes on the back, and glasses on Isaiah's eyes. They were all like it. They were in 2nd grade and 1st grade. It was crazy time. And I ran across an ad that Jason Mathis posted, and I responded to it. And he started coaching me day one. Okay, Terry, the first thing you need to do is get a license, get an insurance license. I said, okay, how do I do that? He sent me a course, and I did it in a day and a half, and I got my license. I called Jason back. I said, I got my license. I finished the course. How do I get my license? He walked me through that process, got the license. He said, he said, I'm going to send you some leads. I said, how do you call the leads? He coached me on the phone script, right? Went out that first 30 days, made over $8,000, guys. And it was crazy because I was just like, it was just that simple. Just following a simple system and listening to my coach, right? Then as we started building a team, right? When you start building a team, you need a different level of coaching. So then I started hanging out with Andy Albright. I would go live. The TWC was being held in Burlington live. I would go there every single week. Not necessarily to say anything, but just to hear. Me and Tia, we rented space at corporate office. We drove 40 minutes one way in 2 cars every day. Well, Tia went 5 days a week. I went over there 3 days a week because I was in the field the other days. But anyway, to get around the fire, to listen to the ABTF, to get relationships with LPT and President's Club, to hear how this system, how to build this business. We can read the Millionaire Maker Manual, but it's another thing to get around it. So get around that coaching, and not just coaching about the business, but coaching about life, how to handle success, how to handle it when you're changing tax brackets. Come on, somebody. Then I constantly get coaching from my man, Andy Riddle, right now of Riddle, where should I be investing? Should I be doing this? What should I be doing? Right? Jeff Bright. Oh my gosh. Jeff Bright coaching me. Terry, this is how you speak to these type of people. This is how you understand their thought process. This is how you get this group of people to move. And it's just been a phenomenal time. Coaching has been the X factor for me. And John Wooden said it this way: a good coach can change a game, but a great coach can change your life. A good coach can change a game, but a great coach can change your life. And my life has changed so for the better over the last 7 years. It's mind-blowing. Now, I am not satisfied. I am not content. I am not resting on my laurels. I am happy about what I've achieved, but I'm not soaking in that. I know that there's a higher level. And because of coaching and being around higher performing people, I never get satisfied in today's victory because I know that there's another level. So those are some things that are benefits of coaching, of what it is and kind of what it has looked like for me. I want to talk to you guys, introduce you to a couple of friends that I communicate with on a regular basis. I mean, multiple times a day type communicating. And the first one is Kathy Hepburn down in Houston, Texas. Proverbs 25:12 says this right here. It says, a warning given by an experienced person to someone willing to listen is more valuable than gold rings or jewelry made of fine gold. A warning given by an experienced person, but this is the key, to someone willing to listen is more valuable than gold rings or jewelry made of the finest gold. And when I think of someone willing to listen, I think of Kathy Hepburn. I mean, Kathy Hepburn has been hanging around for a little while, but over the last month, Kathy has kicked up her personal production by a little over 400%. And it is amazing to watch. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to y'all to my friend, Miss Kathy Hepburn. Kathy, if you don't mind, unmute yourself. Let everybody know who you are, kind of where you hail from, and how did you get connected with the Alliance? Let's start there.
Hi, good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I want to give thanks to Andy and Jane Albright for this opportunity. And I've been hanging around for 3.5 years. And I got started with the Alliance because I was actually pregnant with my son, and the doctor's assistant recruited me. the week before she tried to recruit me for something else. I was like, mm-mm. And then she told me about this opportunity. And I was like, I'll go to a meeting. So I went to a meeting and I met Olga and Jason Mathis, and it was what the meeting was about that caught me. It wasn't because I always say you can make money anywhere, but the connection. Because I talked to you and you sent me to the meeting, and it was like we was a family before I even knew, and the meeting itself just kept me. That's how I started.
So you got recruited, you went to a meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you got to that meeting, Kathy, what did you see that the alliance could do for you that you didn't already have? Or how did you see it was going to, what did you see for yourself at that meeting?
I saw a way that it was something I was looking for because I was in corporate America at the time. It was something I was looking for, but I saw that I can have the desires of my heart and still be successful financially. So it was one, the importance of family, because we talked about that. It was the importance of God. And it was okay for me to be myself and grow with people that genuinely care about me. And that's what attracted me immediately.
Awesome. Now, when you first got started, you still had a regular job and you were doing this on the side, right?
Yes.
What were some of the challenges that you faced coming out the gate?
Some of the challenges that I faced coming out the gate, and I'll tell anybody, is I was hearing, but I wasn't listening.
Okay.
So you can hear something, but if you're not listening, you can't pick up on it to actually move. So my challenges initially was I was like, "Wow." I was hearing it, but I wasn't listening. So when I initially, the challenges for me was I was trying to reap the benefit without following the system. And I had to realize that, hey, the system was here before me and it worked. So just follow what worked already and you'll be okay.
All right. So you knew the system worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was it that was standing in your way to keep you from working the system?
Myself.
What does that mean?
I was standing in the way. I wouldn't work. So I wanted the results, but I wouldn't dial. I would dial 5 people and stop dialing. How are you going to be successful like that? I would go in a home and don't fill out a green sheet for months. For months. For months. I thought it was invasive. I thought I was asking too much. I'm like, no, I can't be asking people what kind of money they have and da 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 da. I was not filling out a green sheet, and I got called out because I was just being honest because I'm transparent, and I was like, I don't do those. And it's like, no, you have to do that.
So who called you out on that?
Tanisha.
Tanisha Staten called you out on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, so when you got called out on it, you got some coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what made it go from getting coaching to actually doing? Because sometimes we can get coaching and still go back and do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So for 3 years, you were getting coaching, going back doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last 4 weeks, looking at these numbers, right? Kind of tell me, what are you doing different now that you weren't doing, and what caused that change?
Well, I went to Breakthrough and I dealt with some personal development. So sometimes you're so used to saying, oh, I got this, and you don't realize that there's so much other crap that you're holding on to that's preventing you from being the person that you are designed and destined to be. So I went to Breakthrough and I burned all my crap because we set it afire. So I burned that crap. And then I came back home and because I am a naturally strong person. I've grown myself to be that. And I just stopped making excuses. because I'm an excuse queen. I can tell you why something is not working.
All right, hey, look. Just to keep it real, what are some of them excuses you were telling yourself? Inquiring minds want to know.
I was like, I don't want to go to Ireland. I'm not even focused on Ireland because it's okay. I could do my own trip to Ireland. I was like, I'm not focused on I kept telling myself everything that wasn't true to try to make me believe that if I don't win Ireland, it'll bother me. And I remember last year when I didn't win the trip and it bothered me. And I said, this year I'm going to win it. And I remember I was talking to you. I'm not even worried about Ireland. He was like, Kathy, now that is bull crap. You are too close to give up. And then instead of it looking, because I remember when I was at Breakthrough, I was talking to Andy Albright, and I was like, I need 45,000 points. He was like, you better do it. And now it's like, I got a lot of stuff in the back office, but I need like only 15,000 points. And I've already solved. I'm like, I just need 4 weeks of 5,000 and I'm good because I need to be done with this in November. I'm not waiting on December, And when I came back home from Breakthrough though, I just executed the things that I've been hearing for 3 years because when I'm at these events, I listen. So I pick up, like when I heard Brent Swindell's story where he was 0-25, I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know that story. And then when I heard Brian Rojas' story about the final expense lead that he didn't want to go to because of the lady's age, but he found safe money. So then with that, I stopped looking at leads like, oh, should I call this one? No, a lead is a lead.
Come on.
A lead is a lead. I sell 3A leads. I buy them for $3. I dial them. I book the appointment and I sell it. I don't care what lead it is. I'm going to sell it. So I stopped labeling all these things to say, oh, what if this happened? What if this can't happen? But what if it does happen? Like I go in there believing. When I went to that 3A lead that day, the lady didn't let me in the house. I sold her in her parking lot and then took her to my car to sell her. And I sold her because I'm not, whatever it looks like, I'm not accepting it. I'm just accepting greatness.
Hey, what it don't, girl, you messing me up. So you mean to tell me, even though you telling yourself a lie, it still ain't the truth. Mm-hmm. Yourself can't bring you to believe a lie. Mm-hmm. You might trick yourself for a little while, but it ain't the truth. Mm-hmm. So you are close to Ireland. Mm-hmm. So we looked at your numbers also, and you do a great job tracking your numbers. So when we do coaching, we got something to work with. You're going to win Ireland. I get it.
I am.
But I looked at your close ratio, Kathy, and you close 73% of the people that you sit down and talk with. What would happen if we 5x your appointments per week?
I just thought about that. Because I said, I'm doing a lot more than I used to do. Uh-huh. But when I think about it, like honestly, so you guys know my numbers, in the past 3 weeks, I've only sat with 15 families in 3 weeks. So I'm like, you know what? What about if I did that in a week and a half? Like, I just need to get out there more often, And I want to also say, I don't go in homes thinking about what I'm going to sell. Like, I'm not your average salesperson. I'm not. And I'm not your average salesperson. I'm going in your home to see how I can serve you. And then I end up selling, but I'm actually serving you something that you may have not known that you needed before I got there. When I get there and we connect, I'm going to serve you.
It's on. It's on.
It's on like Donkey Kong. Just get me in the door.
So last question I would ask you is this right here. You've never been afraid to ask questions. No. I think sometimes you go back home and talk yourself out of stuff, right? But you've gotten over that hurdle. Your husband, Fred, you guys made that transition, move from Florida to Houston. And Fred is there, got his real estate license. You got your son. You guys have a lot of great things going on. And me and Tia, we are so proud of you. Any woman that will leave her 6-week-old baby to come to an event, she is on a mission. We are so proud of you, Kathy. And I know the best is yet to come. But what is it tell the world right now, what is 2023 going to look like? And what is the next 5 years? What are you going to accomplish over the next 5 years?
Over the next 5 years, I'm going to be financially free. I'm going to have an amazing business. And I started to think about going partner because before I never thought about it. I thought it was too big for me. And then I had this, why am I denying myself or what God has for me? Like all I have to do is keep doing and it can happen. But if in my mind I say to myself, it can't happen, then it's not going to happen. So in the next 5 years, I'm going to continue to allow my thoughts to align with my desires. And it's on. The world will know me.
I love it. I love it. Kathy, we love you and your family. We are so proud of you. And we know that the best is yet to be told and seen from you. So thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you for being so loyal. You go to all the events. You own the conference calls every week. And you know what? I love seeing those tears coming down your eyes because that is nothing but watering the seeds that you've planted. And that harvest, baby, woo, that harvest, God have mercy. Now listen, I got to go from Houston because I get emotional when I see a woman start crying like that. I messed up my little makeup and I got to go in the field this afternoon, so I can't be out there ugly. All right, so let's go out to my man Sebastian Chambers in Lawton, Oklahoma. Let me tell you, so I was reading a quote by Pete Carroll and it made me think about you, Sebastian. Pete Carroll says, each person holds so much power within themselves that needs to be let out. Sometimes they just need a little nudge, a little direction, a little support, a little coaching, and the greatest things can happen. They just need a little nudge, a little direction, a little support, and a little coaching. And as a result of the little, the greatest things can happen. Sebastian Chambers, LaQuinta Chambers, Lawton, America. What's up, my brother?
What's going on, Terry Edwards?
Man, I am fired up to be in business with you. Not just in business with you, in life with you, man. You're like a big younger brother to me, and I'm just so grateful to have you. Again, me and Sebastian, we talk multiple times a day. I love getting these phone calls from Sebastian. They start like this. Man, you ain't gonna believe this if I told you. I'd be like, this is gonna be a good one, baby. So Sebastian, let everybody know who you are, how long you've been with us, and kinda what's been going on with you, and just let people about coaching and how you started, what your thought process was, the coaching you've got, and just kind of share that progression with people.
Okay, thank you, Terry. Thank you, Andy and Jane. Really appreciate you guys as well. Got to thank Olga and Jason. Got to thank Andy Riddle. And listen, and T and Terry, you know, y'all just so near and dear to our hearts, man. But when we first came on board, who I am, Sebastian Chambers. I'm down here in Lawton, America. I'm a billionaire, have a mansion in the yacht, but I just like helping people. You know what I mean? So, So basically, when I got introduced to this business, it was a friend of ours that had met with Terry. And after she met with Terry, she was like, you got to meet this guy, Sebastian. Him and his wife, they're just amazing people. I think y'all will get along so well. And when she introduced us, I think our first conversation, we must have talked about an hour, maybe an hour at least. And it was a match.
It was during a break, during a national convention. I was laying across the bed on a break.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole break, I know we talked, and it was just amazing because as we were talking, I had already went through some things. We've been a part of network marketing and business opportunities since 1992, my wife and I, when we met in college. And we knew back then, you know, when we first joined Amway, we were going to be multimillionaires, you know. We were actually in Amway the same time with Andy and didn't even know it. But anyway, so we were in that business and we were going to be successful. And I mean, we've sold everything, pills, potions, lotions, you name it, powders, you name it. We've sold it. We've been involved in it. And what we discovered was every place that we went, Terry mentioned this earlier, there was this semblance of success. And it wasn't real success. It just looked pretty. Like if they had Twitter back in 92 and 93, we would have been them people on Twitter, you know, and everybody would have thought just the world of us. And so we just felt as though we just didn't have the right formula. We believed in every opportunity. We just felt we didn't have the right formula. So we went through many things. I joined the military, went through the military, ended up getting medically discharged because I got injured over in Iraq, came back, started working for oil in the oil field, working for oil companies, worked for the government, worked as a contractor. Did all kind of stuff. Then I'm going to school. I said, well, maybe if I get my degree, it'll help. 48 years old, graduate from college with my bachelor's degree in business. I thought, oh yeah, now I've made it. And so we started having some financial successes, and we start thinking to ourselves, well, maybe we don't need to worry about building teams and building this and building that. Cause I got my insurance license in 2017. I started writing a few policies. It was giving me the extra little $500 to $1,500 a month. I thought that was amazing, because I was still working full time and just thought that was the route to take. So here we go. We come up, the pandemic hits, and things just totally shift. Now, I was already involved in helping a lot of health insurance stuff to include Medicare and stuff like that. And it was okay. I was making about an extra $15,000 a year at the time, but I still was working full time. And then here comes June of 2020, and I meet Terry Edwards. And man, by the time I met Terry, I was already done with recruiting, done with bringing people on for the ride, and let's get to the top together. See you at the top, all this stuff. Everybody's so excited. And no, I was done. I didn't want to deal with the attitudes. I didn't want to deal with the people. I knew how to hustle. I knew how to work. And when I hustle, I don't act right. I don't talk nice. So you don't want to be around me anyway. So I felt like it was a win-win. I'm making my money. You leaving me alone. Everybody's great. And we were okay. But Terry talks about this nudge. We had this conversation, and Terry asked me where I was at and where my mindset was. And I was like, look, I don't want to be with nobody. I said, can I make money doing this? He said, Sebastian, we got people making six figures on their own pen. I said, that's where I'm at. I'm that guy. Terry said, you sure? I said, yep. He said, well, we'll revisit that conversation a little bit later. It was just about a week later we had that conversation. And I'm telling you, Terry shared some things with me that just flipped my whole mindset. And when he talks about this coaching, in all honesty, I really wasn't open to coaching, but it was the way Terry handled it that made it where it was tolerable. I can handle it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a type A. Terry's a type A. A type A have a hard time taking advice from anybody, regardless of how much more the other person is type A, and because we want to look like we're taking it, but we want to run the whole show. But man, I had to really submit and change a lot about what I was thinking to get to where we're at. So from July 2020 to is when we actually started getting commissions till today. I mean, I was able to walk away from my government job in November just because of a relationship that I had with this man y'all looking at right here, Terry Edwards. Him and his wife came in and just shared some things with us that set us on course. And talking about this coaching and man, I got some things that, boom, it'll probably blow your mind if you think about it. Just simple little things that helped us get on this journey.
Well, tell the people the simple things then. Don't hold back from them. Don't
all right.
The people. Get the people.
I mean, I can tell y'all right now, I got 4 things, and I wrote them down to make sure I don't lose my train of thought, because I have my train don't have tracks, Terry. My train is on gravel. Sometimes it's on sand. My train be all over the place. But here's one thing where my train never loses track: how I'm going to provide for my family and get us financially secure. Now, I'll never get off of that. But I wrote down good questions for coaches. One, the number one thing that started my path, and this is for me personally, for people that just are producers, that it don't matter what you do, you can produce. You don't even know how you get there, but you get there every time, and it's just natural for you. You got to learn to take control of your schedule. That was the first conversation that Terry and I had where I started seeing some success. The first month that me and Terry talked and sat and talked about scheduling was in March 2020. And in April, I had my biggest month that I had from the time I joined Terry in No, March 2021. I'm sorry. March 2021. That was where it went poof, just like that. I couldn't even believe it. I had wrote more business in March, in April 2021, after meeting with Terry in March. I wrote more business in April than I had wrote from July 2020 up until that point. And after that, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe that just something so simple would change everything. So scheduling, and when I say scheduling, some of y'all come to this thing working full time. Some of y'all come working part time. Regardless to where you're at, you need to talk to somebody that's got experience with working this business part time or full time, and let them share with you how they got to where they're at. And listen, it has to be somebody that's been successful. Terry once told me, he said, hey, when you go to these meetings, I want you to remember, if they don't got one of these rings, don't talk to them, because they don't know what they're talking about. They talking a bunch of theory. He said, they need to have one of these rings right here. I said, okay. So that's just what I did. I went and talked to somebody. I'm saying, hey, how you doing? I'm looking at their hand. How you doing? You're doing all right. And if they got to talking and they ain't have one of them rings, I just had the little talk with them, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Okay, bye, see you later. But man, let me see a guy with one of them rings. I was like, hey man, let me ask you a question. Hey, when you got started, was you working full time or was you working part time? And they would tell me. And if they said they was working part time, man, they had all this right here. Man, you making $250,000 a year, you making $400,000 a year, and you started out doing this part time. Tell me, what did you do? You know what I'm saying? As men, we don't want nobody telling us what they did or what to do. We always want to be the one guiding. We want people listening to us. But that's one thing that if you can lay that down and put that to the side and take advice, man, you can get far. The next thing, this was something that I had to ask Terry. And boy, this was, when I asked Terry this one, it caused some tension between me and Terry for about 2 to 3 days, because I didn't want to hear what this joker was saying, but I had to ask him, what bad habits did he see me do? And he told me, you don't know when to shut up. Sometimes, Sebastian, you need to just shut up. I was like, what? I said that. Yeah. I said, I know what I'm talking about. If I'm talking to people, it's good stuff. And he was right. Sometimes you will sit on an appointment, and that appointment is ready to write that policy. And you talk them out of it just by giving your little piece of advice that they didn't even ask for. My opinion about advice is, if somebody comes to you and asks, that's advice. If you volunteer it, you pestering. That's what I feel. You know what I'm saying? Don't throw your pearls out there to swine, because they're going to chew it up and eat it. And you know what happens when you chew up stuff and eat it? If you're healthy, you poop it. It turns into, you know what I'm saying? So that's what they're going to take your advice. They're going to turn into shit. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to do that. You want to wait, be in place. And when somebody asks, be honest with them, tell them, and give them a forewarning. Terry say, Sebastian, I'm going to share some things with you. I say, Terry, you got my permission, man. Say what you got to say. He said, all right, now listen, when I tell you, don't get mad. I got mad, but it's all right because I did something about it. The next thing, number 3, what's the team goal and what part do I play? I said, Terry, look, man, I see that we got me on the team. We got Quincy at the time. I think Cheryl was just coming on board. We had Beth, Ireland. This was the people on the team that was just winning the trips, doing all the stuff like that, with Mia and Beth. And I was like, well, what do we do? How do I come in and be a role player? And Terry told me, Sebastian, just be yourself and follow the system. If you just be yourself and follow the system and stay coachable. He used to say this all the time, just stay coachable. And I thought I knew what coachable meant. Man, coachable, you have to be transparent. One day, me and Terry was having a conversation. He said, Sebastian, what books are you reading? I say, Terry, I don't read no books. Terry, I thought he said, clutch the pearls. He was like, you not reading? I say, man, I done read for 30 years. I'm tired of reading. I've been reading this, reading that. I ain't never made no money. As soon as I start doing what you told me to do, I start getting paid. So I thought reading was getting in the way. Well, I'm bringing on a team. If you don't read, what your team gonna do? They not gonna read. So you have to remember that there's some things as a leader that you do that's not always for your personal benefit, but it's for the benefit for the team, and that indirectly benefits you. So do these things to make you the whole person that you need to be. The Bible speaks about becoming all things to all people. It don't mean that you can't be who you are. It just means it takes who you are and transforms it into something more tolerable for others so they can follow. That was deep right there. Y'all better write that down. All right. The next thing, what can I do to help motivate the team? So all of us now have teams. I didn't have a team in the beginning. I wasn't thinking about a team. I hired a few people, but it wasn't a team. I just did it because Terry said you need to hire some people. I hired them people. I don't know where they at today, but these last people that we brought on, we're mentoring them, we're coaching them, they're writing policies. We're seeing more activity now than we've ever seen. It's like every month and every year it gets better and better. I had one friend, she should say betterer and betterer. And that's just kind of how I feel. It's getting better and better. So in my opinion, when you're getting involved in anything, you got to find a coach. You got to be transparent. You got to find out what your role is. It behooves you to step back out of your own way, like Kathy said a second ago. And, stepping in your own way looks like not being coachable, trying to do your own thing, trying to prove that you can find a new way to do this that's even better. Man, wow, who's going to go out and make the wheel better? They made these little oblong things that when you roll it, it does the same rotation of a circle. So it's almost smooth as a tire. They thought about putting it on cars and they were like, well, what's going to happen when you turn a corner? Everybody trying to reinvent. No, man, just go with the flow. There's something already in place. Let's just use it. And so that's just kind of 4 things that I've found with, especially having this relationship with Tia and Terry. And Tia, let me tell you, Tia will tell you what you need to hear too. Tia don't pull no punches. And I love it because she's not mean when she does it. She brings it real. And she'll tell you, hey, that's not a good idea. I remember one day I was going to just quit my job. I seen Tia's hand go up. She's going to hit me in the head. She said, I was just going to quit. And I didn't care how LaQuinta felt about it. And Tia was like, Sebastian, you can't do that. You got to think about how your wife feels. You got to give her more clarity about what's going on before you go do that thing. And man, I felt like, well, shoot, nobody ever said nothing like that to me. Even Terry was like, boy, you better shut up right now. Stop talking. He was trying to save me from the wrath. But getting coaching is just important. Now, if whoever brought y'all into this business, if they having success, I would just urge everybody watching, just follow your successful leaders and do what they're telling you to do. Trust them. Successful people have this about them: success. So if you follow what they follow, you're going to have it too.
I love it, man. We're so proud of you and LaQuinta, man, and the whole Lawton America team, Nikki and Lisa, and spread out into Louisiana, DeNicholas and Dee Dee and Corey. Man, we got a lot going on, man. Just super excited. Lions family, we're out of time. But listen, we're in the 4th quarter, baby. Listen, I know the first 3 quarters have been tough. I know that the referees ain't been calling the game fair. I know life has not been fair. I get it. I understand that you've been beat up, you're bruised. I understand that things may not be as clear as you want. I get it. But it's the 4th quarter, baby. This is how we show our grit right now, is in the 4th quarter. This is where, when we have been preparing all year long, we've been reading books, we've been going to all the conventions. At this point and this moment, over the next 8 weeks, it is our time, Alliance family, to show the world what's inside of us. And I know what is inside of us is greater than any counter influence that is coming against your life right now. Your vision will eventually come to pass as long as you don't quit. Now let's get out of this locker room. Let's get on this field and let's show the world what we're made of. Alliance family, I love you. Andy and Jane, thank you so much. It's a wrap until next week. I love you guys. Make sure you get your convention ticket. Meet Kathy in Dallas. Sebastian is going to be in Dallas. Me and Tia is going to be in Dallas. It won't be a party. Well, it's going to be a party, but it won't be as good without you. I see you in Dallas or at our next big event, and I can't wait to travel the world with you as well. Love you guys. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Alliance family. We love you.